Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review of Wolverine Patch number 1. If you're not familiar with, Patch is a pseudonym that Wolverine uses every once in a while when he goes to Madrapore to get into trouble. But let's look at the creative team here and then we'll get more into this comic. First of all, I do want to say this comic's really cool about letting you know if you're not familiar with this version of the Wolverine. It gives you a little shield data sheet. Some stuff has been, blacked out for security purposes, but overall, you get the main gist of the story. You get to know who Patch is, why he uses that identity, and then, of course, any known allies that Wolverine could be working with. But this book is written by Larry Hama, with art by Andera Vito, inks by Beau Underwood, and colors by Sebastian Cheng, letters by Clayton Cowles. So here we have a return to Madrapore. Um, this story is about the mutant known as Logan, who has made a name for himself in the island of Madrapore, where the locals know him as Patch. From there, they hunt at the Prince's Bar. What starts as a simple recon mission lands Patch, Art, and Archie in a knee-deep paramilitary struggle that will surface some surprise revelations and characters. And of course, Nick Fury shows up. Yes, two patches for the price of one. I kind of like that. I like that description of the book. So once again, Marvel's doing these series that, like with with the Wolverine patch and Venom Lethal Protector, where they're just taking, very well known character who is very famous for doing a specific type of thing, like the Lethal Protector story or patch or things like that, and they're just kind of giving them a little mini series, and I think that's a good way to introduce new readers to some of the older tropes and styles and storylines, but also a good jumping on point for new readers because you don't really need to know much after all. They kind of let you know everything you need to know here in the first few pages. But it's also cool because longtime readers, like people that were reading this stuff as it was coming out in the 80s and the 90s, aughts, they can just kind of go back and relive some of those stories with creators that were doing stuff back then, like Larry Hama. So let's take a look at some art, and I'll get into a little bit more of this book. Um, I really like this book. I think the Vito really captures the feel of what it was to read a comic back in the day. Um, I love the pacing of the book. I love the introduction immediately of Nick Fury as trouble like really happens. Um, I think it's funny that they both wear the patch on the same side of the on the same eye because we know Wolverine doesn't need the patch, so it's always really funny that he thinks that that's something he needs. And then we get some really cool shots like this. I mean, Wolverine jumping out of a plane, no parachute or anything because he doesn't really need it, right? If he falls and I don't know, cracks his head open or whatever, he could just heal. I guess he wouldn't crack his head open. They even make a comment here in these panels. But DeVito's also really cool at sequencing this stuff, like just this page of like Wolverine falling through the trees, hitting up every branch, breaking stuff. But he talks about like, yeah, my bones don't break. I just got to pop them back into place, so he can kind of move along after that. So this was a very fun book, very enjoyable. As with the Lethal Protector, if you watch that video though, I think I'll just wait for the collection on this. I think this feels like a story that will be better read for me at least in a completed arc or a collected edition. But I'm definitely glad Marvel's doing stuff like this because, like I said, I think it's fun to have things that are just not relying on the continuity of everything we're doing or anything that we're reading currently. And as much as I love the ongoing stuff right now with the X-Men, it's just fun to get a story from back in the day, or from a character that we rarely see Patch anymore nowadays. So glad somebody's taken an interest in bringing Patch back, which is ridiculous. And you'll see in one of the covers at the end, Scotty Young makes a joke out of that. But let us know down in the comments, what did you think of the Wolverine patch book, or what else are you reading? Anything else you'd like us to review? All that stuff. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that good stuff. Also, our audio podcast is back. Check out link in the description. And yeah, I'm gonna leave you with a look at some of the variants. There's some really cool stuff for this book as well. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.